YouTube viewers, we're back. I know it's Wednesday and this is not on schedule, but I am kind of behind times because we don't follow the news too often and we don't have cable to fill our heads up with junk. So I was just brought up or saw this one article, and I'll leave the link in the description below so that you can check on this. This is from Yahoo News, so a respected outlet, and it's also done by Fox News, so a respected outlet, or whatever you want to call them. Garbage is what I call them, but you got to look at both sides of the coin. So this one's gonna hit everybody. Biden warns of real food shortages following sanctions on Russia. President Biden said Thursday that a food shortage is going to be real following the sanctions that were placed on Russia by the U.S. government as a result of President Vladimir Putin's invasion into Ukraine. With regard to food shortages, yes, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real, Biden said during a press conference at the NATO summit in Brussels, Belgium, following a meeting with other world leaders. The price of the sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia, he added. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. So you see what he said, and our country as well. And I'll get into that in slowly, so just note. Biden's warning of a real food shortage and the impact it will have on America and European countries following the implementations of sanctions on the Russian economy comes after White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said this week that Americans are unlikely to face food shortages. So here we have the left hand not knowing what the right hand said, because Biden did just say that it's going to be our country as well. Moving forward, while we are not expecting a food shortage here at home, we do. This is Saki speaking, by the way. While we are not expecting a food shortage here at home, we do anticipate a higher energy, fertilizer, wheat, and corn price could impact the price of growing and purchasing critical fuel supply. Food supplies for countries around the world, Saki said, and early estimates from the World Bank suggested disproportionate impacts on the low and middle income countries, including Africa and Middle East and Southeast Asia. So this carrot top here, she really does not understand economics. When you have your energy prices going up, your fertilizers going up, your wheat prices going up, which you purchase from Russia and Ukraine because they produce about 25 to 33% of the world's wheat and grain, you're going to have food shortages. My question is, do people around understand the definition of a food shortage? There's two definitions of a food shortage, all right? One is there is no food. Two is that the price of the food is there, but the food is there, but the price of that food is so expensive that you cannot afford to buy it. Hence, food shortage. And with the price of things going up as it is, it's going to be sooner or later you won't be able to purchase certain items because you cannot afford it. Let's move forward. Sorry, I'm on a new tablet today, so we're a little slower than normal. Moving forward, we have plenty of food, Biden added at the time. It's being plowed under. You've got you're euthanizing cattle and pig. They're out there making sure that they're pouring thousands of gallons of milk into the ground. It's not a food shortage. It's a lack of leadership. A lack of leadership. Now, I don't have a clue what that means from this mumbling buffoon here, but a lack of leadership. He should look at himself in the mirror if he's talking about leadership here. Like, come on. As a war continues to ravage Ukraine, Americans, particularly those who live paycheck to paycheck, are beginning to feel the financial squeeze on their food prices from the conflict halfway around the world. So that's just it. Is now the lower class and the lower portion of the middle class that is now becoming lower class. They are really starting to feel it. They're downgrading their cars. They're downgrading their houses. Even though prices are going up. So, with that said, is like I said, with everything else going up, your gas prices going up, fertilizer going up. I was just talking to the one cattle farmer around here, and he was saying that his fertilizer has gone up 50% on top of the fuel prices. And I know right now that I was buying 1,200 pound bale hays for $80, and now I'm seeing them going for about $200. So that's still last year's hay. So when this year's hay comes off and the prices are coming up next year, we'll see what happens. So with that, that's the end of the news article there. And like I said, I'll leave a link in the description below. But with that said, what can we take from this? And I'll give you my point of view as to what I think that we can do as a community, as individuals, whatever it might be. So go buy the things you need to buy right now. I would not recommend waiting any longer. And the reason I say that is because of the way inflation is just skyrocketing. Your dollar today is going to be worth less tomorrow. And it's going to be worth less next week than this week, and less next month than this month. So with that, I would recommend going and buying what you need. And I'm not talking the North American I need toys. I need the newest truck. I need the newest gear. I need the newest whatever. I'm talking about going to buy some flour, buying rice, dried beans. I'm talking about buying those things, things that will hold you over long term. Because if this stuff does happen, I'm actually not saying, I shouldn't say if, but when, it's gonna not take you by shock, but you're gonna realize it too late, because this is a slow decline. And if they can slowly get you used to this, that's why they're doing this. This is, they're programming you by telling you this beforehand, so that when it does happen, you're like, aha, you were telling us about this. And now I'm telling you about this, so do something about it. If Biden's telling you this, and I'm telling you right now, they're not talking, when they talk, it's not off the cuff like I do right now. Their talking points are scripted. So when they're telling you something that is happening now, it's been happening for a while. And they can't blame, like I've said this in previous videos, they can't blame all this on what's going on in the past 6 weeks. They need to look at what's been happening these past 2 years now, and that's going to start ramping back up too. So get your gotchis in a row before you get put on the sidelines again here. So the next thing you can do, and yes, I do have a couple notes here that I was thinking of. It's springtime right now. All right, it's springtime everywhere in the world. And if you're further south than where we are, and majority of you viewers are, I think it's 80% of the viewers on this channel come from the United States. So you guys are a lot better shape than we are climate-wise, because you probably don't have snow on the ground anymore where we do. So you can start planting a garden. If you don't have a garden, make one. If you don't have good earth, build a raised bed. If you don't know how, we live in an age of technology where we have things at our fingertips that we can just search for anything and learn how to do it. If you have a little bit of space, Get some chickens, get some rabbits, get something to help you out. You can also look at finding a local butcher and going in with another friend, family, relative, whatever, and purchasing half a cow. Or better yet, buying the whole cow and butchering it and learning a thing or two on that side of life as well. Because we've been desensitized these days that we don't even know what it's like to butcher an animal, but let's not get on that. Get something on that side note. So if you buy bulk meat from a butcher, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if you go buy that same amount of meat at a grocery store. Yes, it's a little bit more upfront right now, but right now is when you need to put that upfront cost in. And also, now that it's springtime, you should not be relaxing. You should be learning things that will get you through hard times. Make sure you have a water supply. Don't rely on city water. Get some sort of rain catchment system if you can with some IBC totes. Learn to forage your own food. For instance, right here, this is raspberry leaf tea, organic loose leaf, blah, 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 and it's not from, Starbucks. I picked this from my driveway last year. So it didn't cost me anything but a good exercise, and I've been drinking this for almost a year now, since last spring, or last summer, and didn't pay a dime. Andre, we don't live out in the boonies. Andre, we don't live on a homestead. Yes, I know many of y'all live in the city, but there are things in the city that you can forage as well. For instance, many of people in society go out and purchase this chemical that kills dandelions. Now, did you know that dandelions are some of the healthiest plants out there, including the root? You can make dandelion root tea and have a very healthy tea. You can take the heads from dandelions and put them in the salads, and the whole dandelion itself is also edible, and it's one of the best plants that you can eat for heart health. And majority of us have them in our lawns, and we kill them every year because we want our grass to look nice. Anyways, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to make fun of anyone, but I've realized that we live in a society of people wanting to make excuses and not doing things. But like the good old saying goes, if there's a will, there's a way. And finally, these talks here are not here to scare anybody whatsoever. They're here to kind of give you a look in a different perspective, a kind of a heads up, what's up. See what's going, open your eyes, open your ears, start to notice things, look at what's happening and put dots together. And it's a talk to help you better yourself, because, you know, in the end, all this prepping stuff, you hope never to use, because you want the world to remain as it is. But history has shown that it doesn't stay one solid line. It is volatile. It changes and it moves. And things happen. So I'm very interested in learning and hearing and reading the comments below from what you think is going to happen with these food shortages. What do you think it's going to look like? Is it going to happen in your perspective? Because we all have our own opinions. We're all entitled to it. Talk to you next time.